Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Just a
Oh.
sandwich.
Hmm.
Deep thought right here.
No, I think it's a taco, man.
You think it's a taco?
You're watching The Strangers Podcast, hosted by Chester Bettingfield.
All right, welcome back to another episode of The Strangers Podcast, episode 2 with Chester Bettingfield. Today we have two guests, one on my left here in holiday attire. What is your name, please?
My name is Boba Tea. Anyone who knows me can just call me Boba.
Nice to meet you today, Boba. And on my right here in the biker mechanic attire,
One and only Brian Jericho.
Brian Jericho. Boba, thank you for making it today to the Weazel studio. How long have you guys been in the city?
I would say roughly a couple months or so.
Nice, and you,
We're going about 2 weeks here.
2 weeks for Brian. All right. So one of the things I want to ask when I start off, especially because there might be some new people watching this. What kind of things do you guys do as a occupation to make money?
So I started off at Hen House along with two of my friends, the Burns siblings, Elizabeth and Daniel. And I recently started working at Noodle Exchange.
You, Brian?
Currently, I like to do freelance repair and swap work on some cars. Maybe thinking about becoming a mechanic. Lately, I've been up in the mines talking to some fine folk, doing some hard manual work.
Yeah, so basically just like odd jobs here and there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice, nice. Boba, how would you describe yourself? Well, if somebody just wanted like a summary of like what you're all about.
Let's see here. So I can be a little shy at first, but as soon as like I get to know someone, I could be a little outgoing, silly and weird here and there, but overall I just like getting to know new people, making new friends, all that good jazz.
All right, good to hear. Nothing wrong with being social, especially in a place like this. I mean, it's a pretty wild and crazy city. Uh,
Oh, for sure.
Brian.
You know, love going around meeting new people. Been getting involved in a few situations here and there. Some good, so some not as good. Recently got taken hostage, but they weren't so bad. So far so good.
Wow, wow. You actually almost delved into a question I have. So you've already had some crazy experiences here in the city.
Yeah, they've been pretty crazy, but nothing I can't get myself out of.
Do you want to elaborate on that hostage situation? Were you kind of just minding your business, or were you in a bad place at the time?
Oh no, I keep the names anonymous. I'm not trying to, tell on anyone out here, but they were pretty nice people. They were just trying to do what they were trying to do. I'm not here to interrupt any processes, so.
Oh yeah, of course, I understand that. You know what's crazy? I've heard one of the newest scams is people will go on to Matchmaker, they'll match with somebody, and they think it's a date, and then all of a sudden, they're in the back of a van with a mask over them. Hopefully that doesn't happen to either one of you guys.
I've experienced a few catfishes so far. I ain't gonna lie to you, Chief.
Oh no. Yeah, I have not had that experience yet, and hopefully I won't anytime soon.
That's good. Even a couple months in the city, you've fairly kept your head above water, you would say.
I mean, I've been involved in certain situations. Like also kidnapping, being held hostage, um, and being involved in a shootout here and there.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing because you're so unassuming looking. You look innocent. You almost look like you could be like a substitute teacher or a librarian or something. I feel like I could come to you for
I
like
think that's
doing my homework or something.
why I feel like that's why I was, I guess, thought of for, I guess, hostages because of how, I guess, quote unquote nice I can be or how I can be approached as. So that's probably why.
Yeah,
But I mean, I'm not going to really,
and that's the beauty of doing this interview or this podcast because you could really just open up and get past the looks on somebody, get to know them.
yeah.
She looks friendly, but she's definitely hiding something.
I mean, between the mask and the gun on her hip, I mean,
I do have a license. So I mean, I only have these just because as a safety precaution, especially I don't know, like people have been just weird lately, so I don't really know if I should stay so cautious or if it's just my own paranoid
No, no,
thinking, you
and I
know?
mean,
Yeah, you got to stay strapped.
exactly, Brian. You have every right to do so, and I shouldn't assume because typically, when people have it out in the open like that, they are legal. Ideally, if somebody was trying to hide from the police or something like that, they wouldn't flash their stuff around. At least I would hope not, anyways.
Yeah, no, I only use this for self-defense. I'm not really involved in anything, so this is just for my safekeeping and safety.
You ever had to use them yet?
No, um, and hopefully I won't need to at any point, but I mean, sometimes I feel like you just never know, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't be afraid to go off a warning shot.
Yeah, yeah, gotta be careful around here. I've seen some crazy things as well, even in the emails. You'd be surprised how much stuff really goes on that you don't even get to experience. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It actually brings me to my next question. So this is pretty interesting. Like, let's say there were no laws and there were no punishments. What would be one of the first things that either of you would do if you know there was no consequences?
I
It's
mean,
a very good
Pleading the
question.
fifth on this one?
yeah. I
If there
mean,
were no consequences, huh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like you could just, decide to do whatever you wanted and nobody would hunt you down, nobody would arrest you.
I honestly have no clue.
I'd go for probably the biggest vault I can think of.
That's one of the more popular answers, of course. Some people would probably just go straight to the dealership and find the keys and drive off with their dream car. I mean, at that point, it's just property. It's
enough.
probably insured.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, right? Because I mean, it's a dealership.
Yeah, they're rich. I mean, they're not gonna. That's just a drop in the bucket for them. Me personally, I don't know. I think I would go and hijack a plane, not with passengers, but just a solo flight. Clear my head, look over the mountains, look at the sunset. 2,500 feet in the air, something like that.
Just a nice little joyride.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd even give it back.
Not hurting anyone, I see.
I'd even give it back. I mean, my property's not even big enough for an airstrip, so I don't even know where I would park it. So let's get a little bit more lighthearted here. Here's a question to think about, and by all means, there's no right answer. Maybe there is. I don't know. Does a straw have one hole or two holes?
It's got one, Chief.
One all the way through, huh?
Wait, you said a straw?
Yeah, like a straw that you'd put into a drink to sip out of. Does it have one hole or two holes?
Doesn't it have two? One at each end?
Oh, okay. So there's not an agreement here. So one at
Wait,
each end.
Oh wait,
We're about to have some beef.
wait. Straw. I'm having a brain fart. A straw. No, it's one hole. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. It's one hole because it's just one thing. Yeah. okay, never
Interesting.
She
mind.
came to her senses.
Okay, okay. So you'd say two holes because it goes all the way through the straw.
No, actually, I changed my answer. It's just one hole.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's interesting because you could put like two separate items on either side of the straw, right? So does a hole have two sides
Yeah.
then?
Yeah.
It does because it continues all the way through.
So a hole does not have two sides.
It would have two sides if there was volume in the middle.
So like if you took a straw, right, and you put like a pea on each side, is that the same hole or is that two different holes that you're putting something into?
That's the same hole, Chief.
All right. One long hole. All right. I think we're not gonna progress on that. Okay. There's no changing your mind on that one.
That was actually a lot of thinking I couldn't just process right there.
It's pretty good.
Okay. Okay. Here's one. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh.
Just a sandwich.
Deep thought right here.
No, I think it's a taco, man.
You think it's a taco?
Yeah, brother.
This is like a
There's empty space above. It's
like a
obvious.
soft taco.
I can see a point in that.
Yeah.
I could see a point in that.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. So why don't they call it a taco then? They call it a hot dog. Is it the contents?
Well, not everyone, has the same sense,
What about you, Boba? What's your vote on this one? Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I mean, I could see a yes and no, but I mean, I can lean more towards it being a sandwich.
Okay. So I googled the definition. Right. A sandwich is
Oh, shit.
two pieces of bread with ingredients in the middle, and that is the base definition of a sandwich. So ideally, a hot dog bun is one piece. But if it breaks into two pieces, does that become a sandwich?
If it breaks, yeah, but the idea of one is that it's together.
So all it takes is separation. Now you're holding something different.
Absolutely.
Wow. What about you, Boba?
I could see a point in that. I could see his point in that. But I mean, honestly, I haven't really thought about it like that. I just eat it.
This is one of the things that we're all about here on The Strangers. We kind of we really get into the deep thought of life, and it's funny because it's with two strangers. So
But then, since we're talking about hot dogs, so if it's not a hot like dog, would it still be called a cold dog or a chilled dog?
I think a hot dog is just the nickname. Does a hamburger actually have pork in it, or hamburgers are beef too, right? So
Or ham, yeah. Does it actually have ham in it? No. Just has, other things in it too.
You never know what you're eating with a damn hot dog now.
no, yeah, hot dog is mystery meat basically.
That's mystery meat.
Okay, you thought we got deep. All right, let's get even deeper here. Let's say you could rub a crystal ball to find out the day that you die. Would you do that?
Yes.
No, it might change the end.
So you're thinking something along the lines of butterfly effect, and you, Boba, you don't like being kept in secret, do you?
Well, I mean, because I'm a very curious person, and sometimes I just like to wander and like wonder about things. So, I mean, yeah, I think not knowing would be best. But I mean, if I knew, I would just be like, okay, well, if it'll eventually happen, it'll eventually happen, you know?
Yeah, I understand that point.
I'm not I'm not gonna try changing it just because I know it'll affect it either way. I mean, just because I'm curious, I'll be like, oh, if I know, then I'll know, but not gonna
Yeah,
do anything about
yeah.
it.
And you say a hard no on that one, huh, Brian?
Yeah, like I feel like my answer would be different if I was, down real bad, but I don't regret my past, so no.
So here's something interesting going off the butterfly effect. Let's say you rub that crystal ball and it says 3 days from now, but the thing is, that third day you would be as careful as possible to not get into any danger. Do you think it would still happen, or do you think that no matter what, it's like final destination?
I think you could die sooner or die later.
What about you, Bubba?
I feel like yeah, it could happen at like any point. I guess I mean I always want to live life to the fullest either way if I know when I'm going to die, you know? But I mean, I don't have much regrets just like how he said like I don't have much regrets. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah, very understandable. I think that's the sane thing to do. I think I would die of the stress even before that third day comes, just knowing that I'm gonna die in 3 days.
Gotta get a lot of booze, get a party going.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Uh, hookers and blow, something like that.
Yeah, that's a good addition, I guess.
That's my kind of party. I can't speak on your behalf, but
How about you, Bubba? Hookers and blow? What's the deal with you?
I mean, probably just hang out with friends, have a good little hangout just before, it happens. And, if I need to let out some feelings or emotions to certain people, then I will. But I mean, yeah, just partying it out, hanging out until it happens.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
All right, so Chester's the only degenerate. All right, got it.
Well, you don't have to put it out there. People can form their own opinion, but all right, okay. So we're gonna start wrapping it up. Here's the last thing I want to ask: would money buy you happiness,
No.
Brian?
Money amplifies happiness.
So if you're already happy, you'll be even happier, right?
More or less.
What about somebody that's in a lot of debt? They just can't catch a break. Hospital bills, whatever the case is. And then they won the lottery. You think that wouldn't buy them happiness?
All depends on the temperament.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And plus, like, I mean, I feel like it could buy you or make you happy for like that time you do need to pay off your debts. But I mean, eventually you'll still have to keep paying and paying for other things. So
Yeah,
I guess it'll make that person happy in the moment and for the time being. But I think overall, like, money can be part of someone's happiness. It just, I don't think it buys happiness, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I can agree to an extent. I think the argument is like, so if money doesn't buy you happiness, it would be more or less life experiences, right? So what if you use that money to go on vacations, or buy a jet ski and go off on the ocean or something? I would imagine somebody's never been sad on a jet ski before, right?
Shit, I've
Yeah.
got a story for that, but most people know no.
Okay. Any elaboration on that,
I
Boba?
feel like I feel like you can definitely use like that money that you eventually won or you earned to, like buy something and treat yourself. Feel like everyone deserves that, you know?
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, some people they just don't have quite the luck, for lack of a better word. Some people just find themselves in situations they can't help, and sometimes money will get them out of those
Yeah.
situations. But ideally, like Brian said, I think I agree. Money amplifies happiness. All right. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Starting with you, Boba. Is there anything that you would like to say to all the people watching this? Anything you'd like to plug?
Um I mean, hope everyone is staying safe, healthy out there in city or in head, and hope you guys have a great new year and great holiday.
Sweet. And how about you, Brian?
For all the people out there, if you got anything you need to change in order to put your life in a different direction, and it's what you need to do, just take the decision now.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, guys. We will go ahead and wrap up. That was episode 2 of the Strangers Podcast with your host, Chester Bettingfield, Weazel News. You guys have a great day, and we will see you guys later.